What is going on, guys? We have the first game to this Wololo monthly, and it's Artie versus COINNU in the best of 3, starting out on Dry Arabia. And COINNU is spawning in over here as the Abbasids, whereas Artie is the HRE. And in higher elo play, I think people tend to lean a little bit more towards the Abbasid in this matchup because they're high mobility units. Even in Feudal Age, they're able to deny the relics and do really well while also bolstering up their eco behind it with fresh foodstuffs. So Don's going to use this prelate, inspire all his vills, go up with that chapel, and then from there, we're going to see how fast he's going to want to end up going up to Castle Age, whether it's going to be, you know, with minimal military production. Usually you'll see a barracks and a stables come out, a few horsemen, a few spears to just kind of clear the way and protect up for some of those relics, which we're going to go ahead and look at. We see 3 right down the center. Should be kind of easily securable, I would say, at least 1 to the north side. The 1 to the center should be contested by Cyark, and 2 over on Cyark side. So I'd say a little favorable positioning for COINNU over here. COINNU, Cyark are interchangeable, so just letting y'all know that if y'all hear me say Cyark or COINNU, it is the same, whereas Don is obviously the good old Don. Scout circling around, still went with the double scout opening Cyark did, which you don't see as much. You still see it a good amount, but not as much as you used to with the most recent change adding 5 seconds to the scout production time. 702 going back over to the gold, and I would say the Abbasid is one of Cyark's most comfortable civilizations, so not too surprised to see him pick this, and Don's probably happy to get this out of the way the first game. As we were talking about those single scout openings, Don is actually the one who opted for the single scout opening, going for a little bit of a faster timing with this chapel, and look at his choice. He's going with the 2 TC HRE play, throwing the chapel down on the wood line on the stone. He's going to be able to protect this up, can even push these deer in if he's able to use that APM with his scout and push it in. I know Don might not be the highest APM player, but still should easily be able to do this because doesn't need to focus too much with his scout, as he knows exactly what Cyark's doing on the opposite side. He's going with that 704 build, getting wheelbarrow, getting fresh foodstuffs, and then getting over onto the stone for the second TC. So just kind of focused up on what he is doing over here, and exactly what I mentioned is going ahead, pushing the deer on in. Very, very greedy chapel, but is able to do it, and holy hell, the age up timing is coming through at 3 minutes and 15 seconds. All the villagers mass onto the wood right next to the chapel, have that nice inspiration bonus. He's losing it on the food gatherers under his town center, but isn't too worried about it, as his main priority right now is dropping this second TC. Notice Don as well, pushing in the deer, needs to try to get these deer in before Cyark notices, because what Cyark can do is just pull his scout over, shoot down all the deer out of the circle range of the chapel. Doesn't look like he is opting to do so, but notices the greedy chapel, and in reaction, I think what Cyark may do, which is it's hard to do this against the HRE this early, but I think what he'll end up doing is going with a 3 TC potentially. Still would cost less to produce out of the 3 than the 2 of Artie's due to fresh foodstuffs, but Artie looks like he's going to get his second TC down at an unbelievable time. I'm pretty sure he's going to have these resources before 5 minutes. Has enough wood already, sends more over to the stone. 9 villagers on the stone with the inspiration bonus. Where will the second TC end up dropping? My assumption's right over here to the right side of the chapel. Gets at least 4 deer inside of the chapel bonus, but the last 3 will get sniped out by Cyark. He's actually going to push him even further away. Cyark reached it at a pretty typical timing at 4:45. Going over to the stone, just how we had mentioned, whereas Don is already dropping his second TC. At 4 minutes and 53 seconds, Artie is already building a second TC with 10 villagers. It's 20 and 2 for Don. It's 19 and 2 for Psyarch because of that extra scout opening. This is an absolutely sick build. I think I'm gonna have to rewatch this game again. Might have to put this in the back pocket for a little change of pace HRE, because I don't think people know exactly how to react to this. From here, Don can just go right up to Castle Age with the fast castle just how he wants, since he knows that the second TC is coming down on the other side, and potentially even a third to beat him out, because you always want to have an extra TC than your opponent as the Abbasids. Heavy onto those deer that he had pushed in. The few other ones did get pushed further away, but Don is sitting nice and happy. Even has a few sheep under the chapel that he's able to start gathering, and moving over to the gold now as well. Hasn't had to build any defenses. There is absolutely zero production down yet. And as I say that, Stables is about to finish. Psyarch getting pretty close to his second TC, but significantly behind. And all of these villagers for Don also have the inspiration bonus. So just an absolutely sick build here for Don. Has the Stables out himself, already has the horseman out on the map getting control first before Psyarch even has his horseman out. So it's just kind of a step ahead of Psyarch in every single aspect this first game. 5 vills, pull off the stone, moving over to the deer or potentially the berries. And since he did not pull all of the vills off the stone, that makes me think it is going to be a 3 TC build. The problem with the 3 TCs here is that this will allow Don to potentially go up to Castle Age, secure up the relics. Psyarch's able to stay at Feudal just a little bit longer, as we talked about at the start of the game, being the Abbasids with the high mobile units of horsemen and camel archers that they usually end up massing up. But if Don's able to secure up a few of these relics, it will be hard for Psyarch to end up getting any too big of an advantage. Don's starting to go a little bit idle on his chapel. Moving out with 8 villagers, and don't know his exact choice. Psyarch still hasn't even finished up his second TC yet. So at this point in time, it's 32 for Don. It's 26 for Psyarch. So Don has a significant lead and is moving to get the boar. Just a full greed game coming out from Don. Has the advantage and just is continuing to try to build on this advantage. 4 horsemen compared to 3 horsemen on the other side. This is going to give him an even faster food gathering rate. Just needs to send some more onto the gold, and is quite close to Castle Age himself. Halfway as far as the gold goes, and 3/4 of the way as far as food. Still producing up some of these horsemen. Scout spots out the gold, and most likely will start to pressure that, but Don needs to just circle back around and make sure those gold villagers go left untouched so he can get closer and closer to Castle Age. 3rd TC being dropped for Psyarch on top of the gold. Raid comes in. It's only 3 horsemen, so not sure if they're going to get any actual kills, but they do get quite a bit of idle time. Don's pulling back with his horsemen, and at the same time, Psyarch is moving up with the villager to wall in the front and center relic on the map to deny that quick, easy relic secure by Don. Not too much of idle time by Don, so really good job here by not overreacting. Problem for him is just this relic in the middle might just be walled off. Relic in the eastern side should be secured. Late Golden Age tier 1 coming in. The 3rd TC's come out, so Psyarch should start catching up on the villager count. Is still down about 8 at this point in time, even with the attempted raids, I should say. Horsemen look like they're about to get cleaned up, and Psyarch's just opting to go for walling in the relics. The problem with this is if Don gets a military lead, these horsemen will start turning into knights once he hits Castle Age, and will start making that potential villager lead out of the 3 TCs become completely nullified. Don able to drop the Regnant's Cathedral and is still up in villager count by a significant amount for this time in the game. It's going to take a couple minutes before Psyarch actually can catch up on the villager count, and even if he does, it doesn't really matter because Don has inspiration bonuses. Don's going to be an age up, and oh my gosh, I said Regnant's, and He's going with the Burgrave. This is actually a sick idea. The reason being is usually the Burgrave kind of is a downfall because you don't have as much food to support it when you go with it with the fast castle. It's usually to kind of break out of a tower rush, something of that sort. But this Burgrave, this isn't to break out of a tower rush. This isn't for something of that sort. This is for full-on aggression. Don's going to have enough eco behind this to support the Burgrave, and he is just going to overrun Cyark, who isn't even close to having the resources to castle age, getting kind of close to halfway there, but can't speed it up because it takes a minute and 45 seconds for castle age to end up finishing. Burgrave finishes, 5 men-at-arms already in queue. Don still has more than enough resources, has a significant amount of food, just needs to make sure to secure up his gold, which he has done with the first initial outpost. Springled emplacement coming through as well. Cyark's got... No! Oh no! Cyark, he didn't scout this out, so he went with the triple barracks plays, massing up spearmen, which might sound okay because spearmen do pretty well with the Abbasids with the phalanx upgrade, but the problem for this is he's about to be facing castle age men-at-arms, and there aren't just a few of them. There's going to be a huge mass of these. Don, instead of going for eco though, trying to burn down that middle relic, secure up these relics for himself and still get that eco advantage. 3 camels are out on the map, so those are going to be quite annoying for Don to deal with. Prelate has moved out and found no success as Cyark has walled in every single one of the relics on the whole entire map except the very first initial one, I believe. Don's able to close in on some of the spearmen, but the camel archers are going to be the hard thing to deal with. How will he be able to close in on that? Marching drills will be a big help. Villagers on top of the deer get focused down by a few of these horsemen, those pesky, highly mobile horsemen, and the next relic should be secured. More farms going down on the chapel. Relic went in onto the middle outpost by the boar. Next relic secured. Men-at-arms just moving forward, taking the fight against the spearmen, taking a fight against the camel archers. Remember how tanky these units are being castle age. Cyark has started up his castle age as well. At this point, it's 65 and 14 versus 61 and 23. So Don having that military lead doesn't quite have that Vil count anymore with Cyark's 3rd TC starting to pay off, but will have been castle age for quite some time. Has secured up 2 relics for himself, but will need something to do to deal with these camels. That's going to be the big problem. Camel archer number up at 5, and just look at how much they actually can end up doing in their mass. Don does a good little turn, able to get a couple swings in, but just not enough to get any actual valuable picks yet. Wouldn't be surprised to see that relic being taken next, as well as the boar that is right next to it. Men-at-arms continuing to run forward, just need to get on top of the eco as he has started to kind of close in the gap a little bit. Camel archer number still at 7. House being taken down, villagers moving off of the boar, scout gets taken down, and the men-at-arms are finally looking like they are about to get on top of the eco. Cyark's going to need to pull his villagers back. 2 villagers do get taken out. A little bit of the idle eco onto the wood, but there are bigger worries to deal with than that. Don has horsemen on the backside that Cyark hasn't reacted to. Is starting to go idle on some of his food sources, ran out of berries, is building some forward walls, so that will give him a lifeline for a little bit of time right now. Cyark gets his castle age. What will be his reaction as far as castle age goes? Immediately getting preservation of knowledge tech, veteran camel archers. So the camel archers are going to be the big thing to deal with for Don Artie. Full sets of farms around the chapel. Don going heavier onto the stone. It might just be a forward keep drop because he has so much forward aggression right now. Getting a few of these Camel Archer picks. This is looking like Don is actually starting to become killing a little bit of the eco. It's 79 to 73, so Don looking pretty solid, taking out a lot of these Camel Archers, but his men-at-arms mass is starting to be quite thinned out. As I mentioned, going for that third relic on the bottom side. Men-at-arms still trying to chase around, but at the same time, Don did the great job of splitting them up to different parts of the eco. So killing more and more of the eco, idling tons of vills all over the place. So even though Cyrarch might be in the villager count lead, it's not going to last for long with all of this damage coming in. It's 80 and 12, but 41 of those are idled compared to 76 and 22, with a lot of those having the inspiration bonus. I'd say 40 of those vills having inspiration. Next relic gets secured, and I wouldn't be surprised to start seeing sacred sites secured as well. Don Artie moving forward, and what did I say it was going to be? It's a keep drop front and forward in the middle of the base of Cyrarch. There's no reaction that can be made. Villagers trying to move forward. Men-at-arms are there. There's a couple crossbows into the mix, Camel Archers into the mix, but Don has horsemen. Don has a massive flow of men-at-arms from the Burgrave Palace. Just needs to try to defend up these vills for as long as possible, and then grab this foothold on the map and continue to move forward. Notice where he put it, right on top of another stone mine. He can immediately grab up enough stone to try to get grab the next keep or next tower upgrades, throwing a relic inside of the keep as well, and dropping a siege workshop. This is the Abbasid dynasty. It is hard to defend up these two landmarks that you have once a keep goes down in front of it. It takes quite a bit of time to end up getting your siege workshop and getting enough for that to end up doing some damage. Gold starting to run low on the backside as well, so Cyrarch's going to have to move out to some secondary gold sources, and if Don spots that out, it could just be game over. There's a battering ram going down, but the battering ram will do absolutely nothing to this buffed up keep that's about to have a spring emplacement as well. House is being torn down. You might not think this is much, but this delays up the next age of the Golden Age, and is just one of those annoying factors that you are going to constantly have to deal with and not allow yourself to get pop capped. Gold run out for Cyrarch. Needs to move out to that secondary gold like I mentioned, and he's not going to have enough to get some of the units out that he needs. Next castle moving forward on top of the next set of stone as well. Prelates moving forward, men-at-arms moving forward, and the siege is about to start coming out. First trebuchet popping out in just a few seconds. Don's about to start sieging down this next TC, playing this game like the Delhi does almost, where you move forward with those keeps and then you secure up and just start attacking the main landmarks of Cyrarch. And how will he be able to defend himself? He doesn't have too much military out, 30 military, but just now getting his first siege workshop to be able to actually try to take down some of these keeps that are right in front of him. Farms being denied as well, and the backside berries, backside TC still working, but look at where those villagers are going. Yep, dying, immediately dying. So it's 101 for Cyrarch. It's 93 for Don, so the third TC hasn't become too big of a difference. And is that 4 rams? Does Cyrarch not realize that 4 rams into 2 keeps, about to be a third keep, but mainly an all infantry with a couple knight mass? That's gonna do absolutely nothing to take down the actual keeps. He only has 12 crossbows in the backside. That's enough to one-shot one of these men-at-arms, but there's not just one man-at-arms. The next keep's about to finish, and look at how many villagers there are up front and forward. It's 16 villagers that are about to start getting fired down upon by that keep. It finishes up. Cyrarch, there's nothing he's going to be able to do. Having to fall back, has 64 villagers on the wood line, but where is he getting food from? Trying to transition to farms in the backside. Next trebuchet is about to come out. Don is playing this to perfection, taking down some of those forward production buildings that his keeps on top of now, and he can also help taking down the original TC with his actual military units now. The third TC on the western side is still just sending out those vills to the bottom, so it can't really expand too far. Front TC is about to go down, and there's only going to be one landmark left for Psyarch. Outpost moving forward. Rams about to start trying to take that down, but watch what is going to happen to these Rams in just a second. The keeps, the villagers, the horsemen, they're all just going to be able to turn it in no time at all and actually start taking down these Rams if they so desire. Once they get closer to the keeps, also the springled emplacements will end up crushing down the Rams, and the original TC has gone down. The trebuchet that came out for Psyarch's getting taken down as well. He doesn't have too many ranged units left, and the main military for Don Artie is rushing right over to that small amount of military. Rams getting taken down. There's only one Ram left. Double trebuchet can move forward and start taking down the House of Wisdom. Next trebuchet comes out, but it comes out with a massive military on top of it, and Don's whole military is about to be on about 100 villagers, it feels like, of Psyarch. Taking down that trebuchet, taking down the Ram, and next comes the House of Wisdom. Keeps going next to the landmark and the House of Wisdom. There's no way Psyarch's going to be able to come back from this. Don's sitting fat and healthy, hasn't had to worry about his eco whatsoever, whereas Psyarch, he has 7 military right now, and look at what is out for Don. This is game over. I'm calling GG. I'm going to eat a shoe if Psyarch's able to come back from this. He has a good amount of villagers, but they're not working. They're not grabbing resources, and it is over. Psyarch is not able to take the first victory on one of his more comfortable civs. Don with a 315 feudal age timing to fast 2 TC. Sick build to play, and shocked us with the Burgrave. Thanks everyone for checking in who followed. If you're watching this on YouTube, throw the thumbs up button below and check out some more of this Don Artie content that we're going to be covering.